everybody, welcome back to Two Stand-Up Gals. I am your co-host, Erica Sparrow.
And I'm Teresa De Gaetano. Hi, everybody.
Hello. The podcast formerly known as Shooters Gotta Shoot. As you can see, we've changed up things if you're new here, but very excited to be here on the pod, back in person.
Woo!
Back in person with the official name change. Hi.
Hi, name change.
Hello.
Thank you for your patience during this time.
Yeah, we're just work in progress. There's no rush. We're on the feed. We're getting people used to us.
Yes.
But talk to me, T. What's up? We're back.
We're back. Well, we should tell everybody this is filmed November 6th. So this is fresh. Day after the election. Yeah. I wore my pink. Just positive pink. You know, this is also a hand-me-down from my sister. It's a Grace Karen. You can find it on Amazon. And, how are you feeling today?
Surprisingly, I feel all right, but I think I'm the type that I kind of prep for the worst. I'm a little bit of a pessimist. I'm not gonna lie. I hate to say that because the manifestees of the world are always like the thing you believe and the thing you say or prep for is usually the thing that happens.
Words have power. That they do.
Yeah, I didn't say it out loud, but you know what I mean? I mean, I was watching the results as much as I could, and then I kind of was just like, I'm going to go to bed. I didn't stay up.
Well, I guess I did. I drank a lot last night. Let's just call it what it is. I went out with some comics after work, and we had a great time. But then I went home, and there was wine open, and I just was like, I just stayed up. And
really?
Yeah, and then this morning.
Through the night? Till like what numbers
3
did you see?
a.m. And then I was like, he Trump won. Like I was up when they called it, because I texted my my man friends. I was like, and so so this morning I gotta say I may have told some people to shut up. I gotta go on an apology tour at some point, and I do feel a little bad about that, but that's gonna have to wait till tomorrow.
Well, were they people you know personally?
Yes.
Oh, from like back in the hometown or people here in New York?
Family. I did have to say on family. And I just wasn't having it. And then there was one comic I did tell him to F off. But then I was like
just in the comments?
In the comments. And other comics like screenshotted it and sent it to me, and they were like dying at your post. I was like, ooh-wee. And so I don't know.
Because you're really not the type.
No, and I think that's what surprises people.
They knew you were toasted. They were like, T's fucked up.
Yeah, she had the other one was 8 a.m. when I said it because I'm not proud of this.
Sorry.
Okay,
it's not like you to do it.
Well, there's a feisty side to me, Erica. Okay, like I'm a pretty sweet person, but there's some rage underneath all this pink and pleasantry, and I just was like, here we go, let's go. My finger was in the air. That's when I get fired up. Was when my finger's in the air, and I do feel bad about Then I tried to delete my comment. I unfriended some people. And,
I mean, that's totally reasonable. Go ahead.
I was like, click. And so, it was, once I get to sipping, does anybody, I guess the rage comes out when the drinks happen. It's like the true serum does. Not all the time, no, but sometimes. And it's, an election night. So.
Well, I'm like, get it out of your system now, because we are doing a show in New Jersey, and there's going to be people in the crowd that are pro-Trump.
Oh, yeah, that's tomorrow. Don't worry. And I don't do anything political.
I mean, I don't either. A lot of people don't really in their act, but it's more, that's why I asked, like, are they people that live in New York? Because, like, we are in a bubble here.
We are. Mm-hmm.
We're very much in a bubble here, but also in a bubble of people that are pro-Trump or just very much Republican are very quiet about it here. Mm-hmm. It's like we're very much in a bubble that we feel like these people don't exist, and then election night happens and you're seeing that, 66 million people are voting for this man that you're like, wait, what? Wait, where are these people? And it's like, literally leave the city 10 minutes. And it's like, you see the signs.
Oh, the signs.
You see, there's still this sign or billboard that like, I think it's just on someone's private property anytime I drive home that still just says, lock her up.
Oh my
someone
gosh.
has like hand spray painted that anytime I take comics to do a show in my hometown, they're still just like, lock her up. What? And where are we? And I'm like, we're 15 minutes outside of the city. Like, it's not like we're far.
They're really hanging on to that sign.
I mean, truly.
That is really okay.
But it just goes to show, I'm like, it's not like these people don't exist. It's not like Republicans don't exist. It's just that it's not in our face the way it's, you know, like when you live here, I'm now in LA. It's like, we're in a nice little bubble that we feel like it doesn't. And then you see the map and it's like, where the fuck are the blue states?
Oh yeah. Those states, those flyover states. And, oh wow. So
that's what it is.
Here we are. I mean, yeah. It's the other thing. Okay, not talking politics, but yes, the 6-week abortion ban. I mean, do people even know that they're pregnant in 6 weeks? This is the one thing that gets for 2 women. Like, this is one thing that, like, when you get your period, for any of the men watching, or listening, but it's like, don't you feel that way when you're waiting on your period? You're just walking around with tampons in your bags for like a week. Just wait, and then you're like, that's a thing that baffles me. But, yeah, took a turn. T's coming in hot with her political chatter.
I get it. I mean, we feel you.
Yep.
We hope that, you know, by the time you're listening to this, we could bring a little joy to you today.
At least they called it, the one thing was, I didn't want to wait. You know, like, I mean, that's what I was wondering, too. Like, how long was that going to take? Like, but
I think a lot of us thought we wouldn't know.
We wouldn't know, yeah.
And by the time I woke up, I was like, well, guess we know.
Well, the time I went to bed drunk. And don't leave the wine. Don't leave the wine. And so the wine and the pizza, done. Ordered some bagels for breakfast. Really, it didn't go to my workout class. I am going to go after this, though. I'm going to sweat it out in hot yoga. Everybody, namaste.
You're an up and Adam gal now.
I am trying.
Truly.
I am trying.
You'd be like the first person I heard from when I was in Europe. And I was like, damn, this bitch is up. This bitch is up at 6 a.m. every day for a bartender, especially. I was like, wow, up and Adam, T.
That was true.
And then you'd be like, I'm going to my workout class. I was like, better than me.
I do. Oh my gosh, I have to tell you. So Halloween, so whenever this airs, yes, I won best costume, and I won a $100 gift card to Lululemon.
But okay, I saw the pictures of the costume.
Yeah.
Wait, so it was, you have to do, and you do a hot hit class?
I did a hot hit. Now I took it off. Okay, I had a Minnie Mouse costume.
I knew you had to work out in the costume.
I did
for the gift
25
card.
minutes, but they gave it to me at the beginning of the class because they were like, okay, the winner. Only 2 other people dressed up. So, and
what were the other costumes? You were Minnie Mouse.
I was Minnie Mouse. There was a woman in a tutu, and she looked nice. And then someone else, I don't really know what she was, but she had like a hodgepodge of things on, and I was like, I don't know what it was, a costume, but I don't know what she was.
Is that the one you took a picture with?
No, that was 80s.
Okay,
that was
like,
Stephanie
that girl
the
just
instructor.
Looked like 80s. Yeah,
that was Stephanie the instructor. And
right.
yeah, so when she was like, and the winner is at the beginning of class, and I was like, and I thought, when I looked around, I was like, I got this. But what was funny, so like that morning was warm, but like I forgot I was in costume, and I was power walking through Central Park to get to the class, and I forgot I was dressed as Minnie Mouse, and then I was like, oh wait, this is why people are looking at you. Little girls were smiling at me. Construction workers loved the costume.
Oh hell yeah, of course
they were like, okay, so,
working it.
But $100 gift card, and
$100, hell yeah, I'd dress up.
I guess I can.
I would have worked out in the costume. $100.
I did for most of it, but then I had a sports bra on underneath. But that's going to buy me one item at Lululemon.
Unfortunately, yeah. Let's check out the sales rec. You never know.
I know. I want to get some good butt pants. These Celsius are great.
I know. I know they're not sponsoring us, but they should. Celsius.
I know. So, okay, I'm okay. You know when I'm worried about my side cellulite on my thigh. I've got cheddar on my biscuits. Everybody.
You're fine.
So how was your trip?
I mean, I got a few things from my trip we could get into.
Okay, let's dive right. Okay.
I was like, we have different segments on the show here.
I know, we've got to do our segs.
I didn't know if this counted as Walk It Off. You wanted to talk about the Victoria's Secret fashion show.
Oh, speaking of cellulite, I see what we did there. Yeah, I was a little fired up about that. Well, okay, because they put two transgendered. Am I saying this right? Trans people.
Transgendered women.
Women, sorry.
In the show.
Okay.
For the first time.
For the first time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But they didn't have any big girls. Like that.
No, they did.
They did,
but
because
that
they
is also
had
new to the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they knew if you got. That bothered me. That was the first time that they put and Ashley Graham said yes to it. Maybe they've asked her before.
So they have. This is the first year she has. But my question was, you sent me the post about the transgender women being in it. Mm-hmm. And immediately, and I understand being annoyed, especially being plus size, but I also was like, having plus size women in the show, I was like, do they even make plus size clothing? Or underwear. I don't think they do.
I don't know if they do.
So Ashley Graham made a post, because then I looked at her stuff, because I was like, Ashley Graham is one of the most famous plus-size models. I was like,
I think she's the famous.
I think the most, right? So I was like, I'm sure if they were to have a plus-size model in it, it would be her, because I remembered last year, Remy Bader was in it. But then same thing. I was like, was she wearing Victoria's Secret clothing, or did they make a special outfit for her? 'Cause she was plus sized. But same thing. I'm like, I can't tell you one plus size person I follow that has ever been like Victoria's Secret haul, Victoria's Secret underwear, Victoria's Secret anything. I don't think they make clothing for plus size women. So, because that was the point you made, is you were like, not only are we having trans women in the show, it was even more so being like, Victoria's Secret is constantly just promoting thin women.
Yes.
And they have a thin standard that isn't even mid-size like myself, or even like a few sizes smaller than me. So that was my first thought, was like, have they ever had plus size, mid-size? Because they have openly shared diet and workout regimen that is insane. That is more promoting the toxicity we've all gone through of like the 90s and early 2000s.
Heroin chic? Wasn't that
that's, I mean, we call that now, but yeah. Woo, but like, you see like their workout program, it was almost promoted like, hey gals, you want to get in shape for bikini season? This is what Victoria's Secret models do. And we look at that now and we're like, this is incredibly unhealthy. Nobody should do this. This is starving yourselves. And already to models that are naturally thin, we're like, why are they going through this hell just to prepare for this big fashion show? So I understand it 100% from that standpoint. You're like, okay, you'll have a trans woman, but God forbid, not one that's,
but heaven forbid, you
bigger than a size. Yeah, bigger than a size 00.
The runway.
So it was more so from that lens. It's not us saying trans women shouldn't be in it. It's more being like, oh, you wouldn't have Laverne Cox be in it though, because she's not a 00.
Right.
Yeah. Get it.
It's just the inclusivity. Is that the right word? No.
Inclusivity?
Yes, thank you.
They're trying to be on trend.
Yes.
It's a total bullshit move.
And because I think what's important is you want someone that looks like you. And, and to identify, like, oh, she looks good. Oh, she looks like me. That's what most, I think, women want. And honestly, men enjoy some curves. Okay?
They do.
If you Google what the average size a woman is, it's, I think it's 14. Like,
yeah, the national average size, 14, it might be 16 now, but it's in that range. It's definitely not a 00 and a 2. And not the average, no.
That is something I was fired up. I sent that to you. Yeah, I forgot about that. Walk it off segment. Was that my walk it? No, I had some
I feel like I just
segments.
talked more about it than you, so I didn't know if you had any other thoughts on
no.
it.
That was really it with that. And then that's kind of like that one that passed. And I was like, okay, well, we'll see what happens for next year. We'll see what happens on that.
Yeah, it's frustrating. But I appreciated Ashley Graham's post, because I think she knew exactly what I said was, she walks in it, women are going to go, oh, great, they make plus-size stuff. And she essentially said, the reason I haven't walked in this is because they weren't. And apparently they are or are going to. So I haven't looked up if they are yet. But interestingly, as a whole, I saw a lot of critiques on the Victoria's Secret fashion show about it was shitty. Oh. Like, the quality looked like trash. They thought the outfits overall were trash, regardless of who was wearing what. Like, a lot of people hated what Gigi Hadid was wearing. And a lot of the stuff, everybody said it looked cheap. They thought it was like one of the cheapest looking shows overall.
Really?
Like, overall, just like terrible quality.
I have a lot of Ashley Graham bathing suits. So
she has her online?
Yes, she does.
Oh,
and
shit.
I've probably bought, 8. I have a lot. And so I have a yellow one I just wear. Actually, it's lemonade. Excuse me. That's the color, lemonade. But I would love if she did. My only critique with that, she needs more underwire tops, because it is, if you have boobs, you need a little, more support.
Yeah, definitely.
And sometimes they get a little crazy with the designs, where I'm like, you're gonna have some zigzag tan lines. How is this thing going on? But I would love it if she did lingerie or did like a fashion show, like a line like that.
How do you feel about, I sent you the post, Tyra Banks came back and she hasn't been in it, I believe it was 20 years. And she has had her own hang-ups about being a different size now, and essentially being a plus-size woman. Actually, I'm arguably she might even be mid-size right now, but for a period of time she was plus-size, and obviously she used to be one of the biggest top models. She had the show top model. Now, she's gotten flack for, many a million things. But her outfit in Victoria's Secret show, she was like the finale. She's like covered head to toe.
Yeah.
Leggings. How do you feel about that?
I think they could have put her in like I almost said cape. Cape is not the right word.
She was wearing a cape.
But like you could have done like a sexy sheer thing and showed it is fun. It's kind of funny that it's kind of like, well.
She was completely covered.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was Victoria's Secret wanted to be covered. I think it's her.
Her.
And I think that's why people kind of came at her being like, oh, now you want to be body positivity, but you're still almost essentially too insecure being this size. So I was like,
It is interesting. Now, I didn't really watch America's Next Top Model.
Oh, I was a big fan.
I know, smizing. We're smizing. But see, I didn't watch that much. So
I loved it. I hate to say I loved it, but I did.
It's not on anymore.
It's not on anymore, but that thing had like at least 9 seasons, maybe 12.
I did watch the one girl, Adrienne, who was married to the Brady Bunch guy.
Oh, shit.
Adrienne, what's her name?
I don't know.
Oh, she won, I think, one season.
Well, we know a girl that's a comic that used to be on it, and she was one of the only like plus-sized models on it.
What's her name?
God, now I'm gonna forget.
Oh, jeez. She's beautiful.
She's currently writing like a book and partly about her experience.
Oh, I like her a lot too.
But it was very in the fat shaming era of many, many things. So Tyra, I mean, has gotten so much backlash of many things. Of now she's trying to be all body positivity, but everyone's like, well, because now you're a bigger size.
Yep.
And now you know what it's like to essentially not be so thin, and it's not so easy anymore.
Karma.
Well, I mean, a great point I saw someone make is like she has all the money, all the resources in the world, and it's like, yeah, your body changes and you're the size that you are. And like there's really not that much you can do other than kind of learn to accept the size that you are. And that's something I feel like many women go through. I've had to go through. You've had to go through. So then for her to come and like be like, I'm a body positivity, da-da-da, and she comes out covered in leggings.
Like,
everyone's like, the fuck is this?
Show it.
You know, you got Ashley Graham, you got all these other plus size women here now at this show, Remy Bader included. And you're gonna walk like that, and we should praise you?
Yeah.
It's like, nah, it's an underwear show.
That is true. It is. That's a great point. I loved what Ashley Graham was wearing. She looked great.
Oh, I mean,
and yes. And so like that's a nice, sexy, like, yeah.
But
so yeah, Tyra. It's kind of like when the girls in high school that were always tiny, then when they get to be an adult and they gain weight, and you're like, ha.
You can't help but kind of love it.
Yeah,
it feels mean to say, but you're like, Karma's a bitch. Yeah, and a little bit. If you're mean, because she was mean.
And I want everyone to feel good in their own skin. You know, like that's big, and everyone to, feel good. And, but it is kind of like, you got to be a good person on the inside.
And the point of her show is trying to be like, I'm being like this to you because this is how the industry's going to be to you. And it's like, okay. And it was the era of TV that's like, TV was very mean.
Oh, yeah.
In those years.
Like
we
the
loved
Simon
the
Cowell
TV.
era.
Oh, yeah. We loved it.
We love destroying dreams over here.
But now, what is her ice cream thing that I sent to you?
Tyra?
What the fuck is her ice cream line? She's trying to capitalize. She's literally trying to capitalize on her smizing and plus sizeness. And she's now selling ice cream to people. She's literally telling women to love themselves and eat her ice cream line. It's called, what the hell is it?
When's the last time you ate ice cream? That's one of
Smize and Dream.
Smize and Dream.
Smize and Dream. The ice cream with the yummy Smize surprise. Smize and Dream.
I feel like they could have done better with that slogan.
I mean, it's a terrible name. She's trying to capitalize on something from years ago. But I also feel like this is mainly the only reason she finally was like, okay, I'll walk again in the fashion show.
I will walk again.
I will walk again. But she's basically like, love your body and eat my ice cream. It's like, what the fuck is that?
Love your curves. Love them.
Smize and Dream.
Smize and Dream.
That's a tough way to come back.
Did you eat some great food in Italy and Spain?
I ate too much great food.
I loved all the food pictures. I feel like I liked all your pictures like a stalker. I'm a hard liker. Like if I follow you, I will like the post.
I appreciate the support.
I do. And then on the stories, and sometimes I'm like, I realize I'm that person that comes up like Teresa Nicotano, heart. But you know what? It comes from a good place.
It does.
It does. It comes from a good.
I appreciate it. I had more ideas that had to do with like body image.
Oh,
stuff.
go ahead. Go. Sorry.
It's going to be a pivot.
Yes.
I had a little bit to do with Remy Bader.
Okay.
Because she was in the fashion show. And she made a post that was essentially her photo from last year and her photo from this year. Because she's gone through a big weight loss now.
I have to Google what she looks like again.
She's the girl. She really blew up from basically she would do hauls from different clothing places that were very popular, like a Zara, H&M, whatever, common stuff, Abercrombie. And she essentially is plus size, but now she is not so much. Now she's like maybe a 14, 12, which is the borderline, like basically the largest size in a typical store. So now she's maybe more my size. And her big point to all these companies was being like, basically like, you're not making clothes big enough for people like me, and we want to shop at your places. And there's a big demographic. Yes, that's Remy Bader. So this is what she looks like now. So she made a post basically saying, fire both years. Like, I looked amazing last year when I was a bigger size in the Victoria's Secret show. I look amazing this year as the size in the show. Blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But for a long time currently, she's been getting shit from a lot of people that follow her because it's a big conspiracy about, like, is she on some type of Ozempic, Wegovy, da-da-da-da-da.
She's lost weight. Yeah,
she's lost, I think, 75 pounds, maybe 100 pounds.
Oh, wow. Look at this red dress. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, she looks great.
Oh, here's Tyra walking. Yeah, it's not lingerie. She's just wearing sparkly pants. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No. And I feel for her, though, because it's like, if you come up and your thing is, I'm this size, and people love you for that, and they love that you're representing them, but then you decide, like, I want to work out, I want to get a trainer. Apparently she's on also, I believe, Wellbutrin, some type of antidepressant that also has a weight loss effect. And I think essentially she has not admitted to, like, using something like an Ozempic, whatever. Mm-hmm. So she's dropped a lot of weight, and she's using a trainer, all this stuff. I feel for her in the sense that's like, people love you for this thing, and they basically love you at the size you are, but then there can be one day that you wake up and you're like, I want to get in better shape. I want to be healthier. I want to change. Mm-hmm. And then you decide to change, and you're happy changing. And now you feel like these people that loved you now suddenly hate you and don't like that you're, like, bettering yourself in this way. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I feel for her, but I'm wondering, like, if she admitted, though, to using some type of weight loss drug, would it really make people, like, not as mad about it?
So they're mad because she lost weight, and she doesn't stick with she was the face, and that's how she came up. It's like Jennifer, remember when Jennifer Grey got the nose job? Dirty Dancing.
Oh, the Dirty Dancing
You're like,
woman.
she should, and that was the end of her career. I mean, that was her signature, was the nose.
Well, what's funny is, I don't know if people
like
were really,
everybody else.
Do you feel like people were really mad that she got the nose job?
Not mad, but that was her, that's how
it was a signature look for her.
That was her,
like,
like, because she was sexy, but she had like and she got the nose job, and then it was like, oh, now you're everybody else.
It made her castable. It's like people that are villains and, like, have this almost hateableness to their face. Mm-hmm. It's like, actually, the best thing to be is castable in some way. So there's something to it, you know.
And not saying people can't. I'm sorry, I'm trying to fix my hair. Let's see what's going on. It's not saying people can't better themselves or anything like that. They certainly can.
Yeah, I'm saying I feel for her in that sense that she probably feels like, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. Because if she was fronting that she was truly happy as the size that she was, then that's not good for her either, personally. And if she built this whole brand on being a certain size, but she deep down would like to change that, then that is a very tough spot to be in. So in that sense, I feel for her. Because she probably sat there and went, what if I did lose 100 pounds? Would I, like, lose all my sponsorships? What if I lost half my following? What if like, you know, you ask yourself those questions. Like, would it make people not like me?
What size was she before? Because I just looked at, like, the first 10 Instagram. If you lose 100 pounds, that's a huge.
She's down a couple sizes.
Because now she looks like she's probably a size, like, 12.
She's like a 14, yeah.
12, 14.
So before she was 18, I don't know. Like, but it would depend on the brand. That was kind of the point she was making, is like, some brands she could fit into, some she couldn't. So she would do try-ons and show, like, I love this thing, but, like, I can't fit into it. Would love if you made it in my size. So more and more brands have started making plus-size clothing. So she was in the plus-size demographic. I'm not a dedicated enough follower to know. But I'm wondering, like, if she admitted to, like, yeah, I'm also on, you know, Wegovy, guys. Would people back the fuck off? Or are people just mad that she's using a medication to get thinner?
Well, I think my take on the whole body positivity thing is that, like Lizzo, when Lizzo came out, was body positive. I love that, but you still have to be healthy. Like, you still have to, you can be body positive, and you still have to exercise. You should eat right. Like, you still have to try to be healthy. And so that is part of it too. You can feel good in whatever size you're in, but you should try, you want to, you know, you need to, cholesterol's a thing, blood pressure's a thing, you know, you got to be that. So, like, the healthy lifestyle, and, like, you promote body positivity, but also what comes along with that, you know, like, do you exercise? Do you, you know?
Yeah, which Lizzo does.
Yep. And so, which I like. So, it is a tough spot because you're like, and I want everyone to do whatever makes them happy. Like if she's doing Ozempic, then it's so catchy. I mean, it's really like,
no, it is.
You have to do whatever makes you, feel good. That's a tough spot to be in though, because it's like, I built this, but I don't actually want that anymore for myself.
Well, that's the thing about Ozempic and all these drugs is it is, I think, very tempting. Mm-hmm. And I don't. It's something that I'm like, she's someone that has enough fame and has the money and has the access that I'm like, I get it. Mm-hmm. I get it, especially if you have like always been a certain size and you're looking at this thing being like, how tempting to just do it and experience like, what would it be like though to just be a few sizes smaller? Because the thing is, we're looking at her right now and it's like, guys, it's not like she's a fucking size 2.
No, she's got a great figure though.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and she always has. She did look amazing before. I thought she looked great. Like that. Why do you think her followers fucking blew up? Like,
great. And she dresses.
She knew how to dress.
I love a woman in curves who dresses. Like you're like, that is a dress, right? Ooh,
we all did. I was following her, and I wasn't as big as she was, but I appreciated it because it also would help me find places I could shop because I was that in between. So I understood her struggle, being like, I'm the biggest size in these fucking stores, and some of these stores don't fit me either. So I was like, I could relate to her even though I was a smaller size than what she is, because I was like, I don't know if I was in her position, or I've even like felt the temptation sometimes being like, if I could get an Ozempic, if I could get a something, would I try it?
That is tempting. I would have a hard time, because you have to shoot yourself, right? Or like you have to give yourself a shot, right? Or
it depends, actually.
I do wonder what the backlash of that will be, if there's any. Like the not backlash, but the side effects. Like what happens then? Like
that's the thing, yeah. Like, so it's like, let's say you had the ability to do it, you knew it would cause no negative effects, and let's say it wasn't a medication that was in demand of people that needed it and couldn't get it. It's like, would you do it?
I'd probably try it. I mean, maybe.
It's tempting. You know, like, because a lot of these people are getting hate for many reasons, and I'm like, I don't know what it's like to be under the pressure she's under.
What's it like to just not ever want to eat? I mean, I have a hunger for life. I have a hunger for life.
Dude,
and
I love food too much.
And that's the thing. And it's like, there are some people that just don't eat a lot. And I'm just like, what is that like?
I also know some people personally that have tried some version of Ozempic and stuff, and they were like, I out-ate it. They're like,
I would be the one person who Ozempic didn't work on me, and it was like I gained 40 pounds. It was like
they truly were like, it turns out I just love food, even though the hunger was gone. It's just too fun for me to eat.
I had a little in high school. I had a little bout with I'd make myself throw up sometimes, like a little bout with that, and I was like, I was really good at binging, just couldn't purge very well. But I was like, it was the opposite, and I was like, it's funny, it is. I remember one time I was at an open mic. It was an all-women open mic, and I said, let's just be honest, who hasn't had an eating disorder? And everyone clapped, and I was is that, like, who hasn't had some issues with food?
People say emotional eating is a form. I'm not trying to.
Who hasn't taken some ice cream to the face, smize and dream?
I mean, I made the joke once. People might find this too insensitive, but I was like, I respect people that did anorexia, because I don't think I would ever have the willpower.
Yeah,
I understand it's completely a mental and it's a disease.
It's a loss of control,
but
too.
Like,
you're trying to control.
Yes. Exactly. I understand that. But it would be something like my brain couldn't fathom, because I was like, if I was to have one, I would have binging and overeating.
Yes,
for sure.
That's where
because I'm 1,000% an emotional eater. Someone submitted to my question box, what do you do like to make yourself feel better when you're having a bad day? And I almost just immediately posted like, "Oh, girl, I'm an emotional eater. What are you?
I order pasta.
What are you doing?
What are you talking about? I mean,
it's easy answer." And then I was like, "That's probably not good to post." Like I was like, "Let's not encourage that. That's a habit I should break." But at the same time, I feel like grateful that I haven't severely struggled with an eating disorder the way I have known so many people too.
Yes, and that is, it's hard to have that confidence. I mean, and I have to laugh because the guy I'm dating, my guy, he is not.
He's not
a big eater. And like,
it's fucking annoying.
It's funny. I did write a joke about it and I told him about it. Cause like I ordered pizza for us. Like that's what I have when he comes over. And then I'm like, so do you want some pizza? Like are you hungry? And he's like, no, I'm good. I'm like, what? It's dinner time. How are you not hungry? And so I'm like, so then the one night when he left and he was like, I gotta go, I have an early morning. And he's like, I'm sorry. Like I gotta go. And I was like, it's fine, because I got to eat some pizza. I'm starving.
You didn't have any?
Leave. Well, not that night, barely. I was like, we didn't, and I made popcorn, and I was like, are you not? And he came over the other night, and it was funny on Monday, because he was like, I know you want to eat. Like, I know you want to. We went to the Grand Central Oyster Bar, and I got wasted, because we had like 5 oysters, and I had like 2 onion rings. And like, I was like, I have to, next time I just have to get, I said.
No,
and
you got to order.
Day, well, I also had some wine when I got home. That was my fault. But I texted him the next day. I was like, none of this skinny bitch shit. I got to eat. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
like, this is like, I have to, and so it was funny. The one day when he was over, it was Sunday, and he was like, so do you still have some pizza in the fridge? And I was like, that pizza was Monday. This 6 days went. You think there's still pizza in there? Who you think you're dating? And I said, how do you think I got these thighs, baby, that you love so much? Like, or you enjoy, like, and so he likes my thighs. They get hot. Oh. You get the sweat under the knee. You're like, get in there. And,
dude, this is,
it is funny because and he has abs. I was like, well, now I know.
Well, abs are all diet.
Yeah.
And he's not eating.
It's just, and not that he doesn't eat. He just doesn't get, like, hungry.
They're
like,
birds.
Yeah.
Some people are birds.
And I'm like,
this is also why you and I have dated black men. They like to eat.
Oh, they do. They
like to fucking eat. Okay? And they like to feed you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love when they like to feed me.
And they don't judge you for eating.
And they cook.
I'll throw that out to them. Italian men, too. I'll throw that to Italian men, too.
I was on a kick
Irish men, they don't eat as much.
Oh,
They're little picky birds. What ethnicity is the guy you're dating? I know he's white, but what's his background?
White.
Not Italian and not...
No, but he does look Italian. Like he
does. That's why I'm like, why doesn't this dude eat?
Not. And he wears a gold chain, and then he has gold rings that he wears. Okay, he busted my balls. This is funny because right before we were going to the WNBA game, we were at his friend's son's soccer game. It was very fun. And so I was like, we should go get a burger. I was like, you want to split a burger before the WNBA game? And he goes, I can eat my own burger. And he was like, oh, I know why, because you always take a to-go box. And they're not going to let you take a to-go box into Barclays Center. And he was ripping on me, and it was so funny. He's like, excuse me, I've got to take my to-go box through security. And I laughed so hard. Now, I can eat the whole burger. It's not that I can't eat the whole burger, but when I'm with him, I don't want to eat the whole burger because then I'm going to be full and I'm going to feel gross. But I'm like, I can eat a whole. Yeah, so it was just
You're
funny.
like, trust me, I can eat the whole burger.
I was like, okay. So, and some people are not, eaters as much, but it is funny because I was like...
I would offer the split because it sounds like the dude doesn't eat. I'd just be like, I don't know if you're hungry, man.
Oh no, it is funny. So, but he made us food last Sunday. It was great. Went to the grocery store together. That's always fun. The first we went to the grocery store. I was like,
little cooking trip.
Yeah, a little fun. Put together a tomato and a mozzarella salad. We had a little salad. We had some meats and cheeses, a charcuterie board, if you will. And yeah.
You know where I thought you were going with the pizza story?
What?
There is nothing like sharing a pizza with 2 people when it's very clear how many slices you've had.
Oh my God.
There's nothing more self-conscious of not only how many slices, but how fast I am putting them down.
Well, I told him, I said, I can't outslice my new boyfriend. Like, I can't outslice. I was like, he had 1, I had 4. You can't do that. You can't come in hot and then like, sorry. Like.
The thing is you can, and I think you're going to need to get over it quickly. Because it sounds like homeboy doesn't even eat.
I am going to
Especially if he doesn't even eat, like he's not even going back to the box. How's he going to know?
Well, he did, though. I like when he goes in my fridge and then just goes for the box. Because when he left on Monday, he did have a big slice. And I was like, take more. Take one. So, because I'll eat it. Like, he left the wine there. And guess who took down the wine last night when they got home? Because I was like, that's dangerous. Take the wine with you because I will drink it. And that's why I don't like to keep alcohol in my house.
Okay.
Because, yes, go ahead.
On the taking a to-go box, what do you feel is the etiquette, though, on a date? You're on a date. Mm-hmm. He pays. There's food left over. Do you feel like you can be like, take it to go box, huh?
Oh, I always take it to go box.
Oh,
and actually,
shit.
I put his food in my box as well. And this is a joke that we've had because
Did you do this on like date 1 with this man?
I did this like date 2. We went for wings and we had a lot of wings and we were watching football and I was like, we're taking it to go box. And he was like, oh, okay. And so I was like, I'm taking these home. And
I think you told that story.
yeah. And I was like, I'm taking the wings home. And then we went.
Did you pay it all or did he pay the whole thing?
No, he is a gentleman.
He's very insistent on the pay.
I have not paid for anything besides the WNBA tickets. And I've not, and I've reached, ladies and gentlemen, my obliques.
Yeah, you offer.
I've reached, I've gone in my bag, but I enjoy it. That's very sweet. And
It's nice.
so the ones, then he's like, just put it in her box. Just take my food. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'll take everyone's. Now, in times.
Oh, no, go. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no. In times that my last boyfriend, there was a lot of splits. So we went out one time to Carmine's and we got like the full steak at Carmine's.
Carmine's is huge portions. You got to do
portions. So I was like, oh no, we're each getting our own to-go box and you will divide up those pieces of meat appropriately because we split the check. So you're not getting, no. So
you don't get the whole thing.
What?
I said, yeah, well, that was going to be my question. If the man pays, do you offer, like, do you want to take some of this home? And if they refuse,
then
it's like, do you mind if I take some?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But this is an interesting thing I heard come up on a different pod I was listening to. And the guy was like, oh, I'll absolutely be like, oh, my God, yeah, take it home. But he was like, huge turnoff. I probably would never call them again. I go, well, that's fucked up. Don't encourage and be all like, oh, take it. Also, if you don't want it.
Yeah.
Because if you're paying, I would absolutely be like, oh, do you want to take this home, blah, blah, blah. And if they're like, no, I don't want to take it home.
Now, were they going out somewhere after?
I think that's clutch.
Okay.
If there's no second location, take the food home.
First of all, I do find that to be maybe a red flag if they're just going to waste all that food. You know, like
there's a lot of food left over. If it's scraps, I'm not boxing it up. I do think that's cheap and that's weird. That's a little weird. And first date, I'd be like, nah.
Yeah, maybe first date.
But I wouldn't care if they did. They paid for it. They wanna box up whatever. That's fine. Because I didn't pay.
That's true.
But don't encourage me to take it home and then later be like,
can
you fucking believe she took it home? I'd be like, I don't.
It's like the person who doesn't want to share their food. Okay. Like, and people are very divided on this. Like, I always like to try a bite of someone else's. Like, I'm like, oh, this is my move. First I offer, oh, did you want to try a bite of this?
Yeah.
And then they
you can
say
sense.
no. And then I say, oh, okay. And then I wait for them to say, do you want to try a bite of mine? And I'm like, yes, I do. Thank you. Yeah. And so, but some people are not, like, we got to be careful with that fork. That fork's coming over. I'm taking a bite. Like, we shared food. We were very good. I will say at the end of the trip, this is funny. I don't know if I told you this. So when we had our big final in Croatia, we went on a trip with 20 other women. Oh, and our last dinner, you were at the other table, but I ordered a big old like orange spritz and it came in like a fun glass. And so I got it. And then 4 people asked to try a sip of my drink. And then I was like, okay, I'm at the end. No, get your own drink. Okay. Don't try it. Like, stop.
A drink is different.
Stop. Like, I was like, get your own spritz. Okay. Like, and that after a while I was like, oh, can I get a sip of that? I was like, no. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm near the end of the trip with that.
That's too many and a drink. Because here's the other read, right? I had been on a first date before. This guy had a burger. He's like, oh, the burger's really good. You want to try it? And I was like, oh, okay, I'm okay. Because I wasn't hungry. Not because I'm weird about sharing food. And then he insisted again. He was like, no, really, the burger's really good here. And I was like, all right, I'll have some. He fully handed it to me to like take a bite from the burger. And I was like, that's a real share food person. Yeah. That doesn't care I bite the same burger. Because you can do the like, oh, can I have a thing? And if someone like cuts from a burger for you to have, you could tell you're like, you're a kind of shares food. There's a little bit of a boundary. They're definitely someone you go, you would always do the give it to me on a separate plate. You would not like a fork coming over. That is you can sense little boundaries with people, which is still reasonable. As long as I get to try the thing, I'm fine with the little boundary. I could sense it. But you got to learn to sense. When I was little, I didn't know that because my family is literally will pick it off your plate. Yep. And I took a tater tot from a friend's plate once with my hand. And I was at breakfast with her family after a sleepover. And she freaked out. And I just didn't even realize what I did. And her mom was like, Chelsea, it's fine, And she was like, and I just, tater tot, a fry. I was like, I thought that's a
You thought we could do that?
It was a separate bowl, you know what I mean? It wasn't on her plate. And I was like, oh, I'm so, and I came home and my mom was like, oh, how was your sleepover? I was like, it was good. And then I just said, you know how we like share food? Mm-hmm. My mom goes, yeah. I said, not every family does that. Mm-hmm. And my mom laughed so hard that she was like, oh, you just learned that the world works differently. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, Chelsea got mad. I didn't ask.
That is very funny. It's the little idiosyncrasies for people.
Yeah.
And like I remember
particular.
Talking on the phone is something that I realize not everybody likes to do. And I like to talk on the phone. And then this has been hard for me because he's not a phone talker. It's later at night, like when I get home. And it's like people are winding down their day. But this made me think, okay, like when I would talk on the phone with my like best friend in like middle school, her name was Andrea Poe, love her. And so like we would have a conversation and then we were both like, do you have anything else to say? No. Do you? Okay, bye. See you at school tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah.
I learned the hard way. I did that with like my first boyfriend and we were talking on the phone. I was 15 and I was like, do you have anything else to say? And he was like, I guess not. I was like, okay, bye. See you tomorrow. And like I learned he did not like that. And I thought it was the most honest way to get off the phone with someone. He was like, well, I feel like you just kind of like pushed me off the phone. And I was like, oh, because it's hard to get off the phone with somebody now. You can't fake a beep. You know, there's no call waiting. You can't like, you can, you know, it's not like, oh, my phone's going to die. You can plug it in. It's that there's no cord. Like, you just can't. It's just funny. Like, so.
But that's so weird if he has nothing else to say.
I was like, but you don't have anything else to say. I was like, okay.
He just liked to hear you talk.
Yeah. And I was like,
Which is actually really cute.
Yeah. So I learned, I was like, that's not an appropriate, you can't get off the phone that way. You just, you know. But, so that was kind of funny. So, yeah.
You could have used the internet excuse. You're like, well, someone has to get on the internet.
Yeah.
So.
Someone else picks up the phone. I need the phone. So.
You know what? I had to fight to have a phone in my room.
Oh,
I had no computer. I had no what and I remember I wanted this. It was actually Sabrina the Teenage Witch phone. It was Salem the cat who would talk and be like, someone's calling, or like it would pretend to predict like a witch. I don't know. But I remember the only phone numbers I knew at the time were like my grandparents. And I remember my mom being like, why do you need a phone? I was like, I want a phone. I have people to call. And I have nobody to call. And so I got this phone and I would call my grandma who lived in New Jersey for like nothing. And I remember I was like talking to her once and we were going to visit soon. And my Nana goes, well, what do you want me to make? And I started just naming like everything she makes. And then all of a sudden I hear my mom be like, Erica, it's not a restaurant. You don't need to make you everything. And I was like, are you listening to my phone calls? And my Nana's like laughing. And my mom's like, you can't tell her. And I said, she asked me what I like. Okay. I'm telling her what I like. I was like, but I'm like, wait, eavesdropping on me? You think I'm talking shit to Nana every night? I'm like, let me call my grandmother, okay? It's nice. It's nice that I'm calling my Nana.
That's so sweet that you called her.
I know. I knew 2 phone numbers by heart. I would just I just thought I was so cool with my phone.
Yeah.
And that's who I was calling.
We had our own phone line. My sister and I got our
own
phone
line. You got your own?
And so we would have the outgoing message, and
you had your own answering machine?
Yes, which I loved recording that answering machine message. Yeah, we got our own phone line. I still know the number.
Had too many friends calling.
And yeah, they were like, you can get your own line. And so this was great. And so we would sit and we would talk. I had my little corner spot when we shared a room.
Oh, that's so cute.
We had bunk beds. I was the top bunk, which I'm 6 inches taller than my sister. I don't know why I was on the top bunk.
Because you're the youngest.
I had to crawl up there, and I was like, and I would talk to her like to fall asleep. So, but yeah, we had our own, which was big, and
that's huge.
The outgoing, like the answering message, our neighbors had this one where they would go, hello, gotcha. Oh, and I'm like, oh, that's
the worst.
Yeah.
Did you ever call? Were you allowed to call boys' houses?
Yeah, at that time, I didn't do a lot of dating. I didn't have a lot of boys.
Oh, I mean, I had a deep voice, so I would get away with it.
Regina has that bit, Regina DeChico.
No.
She has a whole bit where she's like, it's me, Regina. And because Regina's voice is deeper. It'd be like, who's this? Is Stephanie there? It's me, Regina from class. And like, so that's my Regina.
Oh, she would pretend to be a boy calling her girlfriend.
No, that's what she sounded like. Regina has a deep voice.
I know.
So
no, I would call and say, this is Eric.
Oh.
When I called the boys' house. Because if their parents answered, I got nervous. Like to tip off the parents that a girl was calling.
Oh.
So I would say, this is Eric. And so they would say to their son, like, some guy from school is calling you. And then the boy would get on, and I'd be like, hey, it's Eric.
Oh, that's funny.
And they'd be like, my parents said some guy was calling. And I was like, yeah, I just pretend.
Yeah,
so, like, you don't get in trouble. Or, I don't know. Because I had a couple friends, it would be like a thing if a girl called. This is like middle school, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like I was real slick and sly.
You're like, I'm
the boy that's calling, and it's like, it's me.
And then when you meet them in person, be like, Eric, it's actually Erica. Wink.
Well, but then I had a girlfriend that would call my house. I would answer, and she would be so scared to talk to boys, she thought it was my brother answering the phone, and she'd hang up on me.
Oh, really?
Like, I'd answer, and it'd just be like, click, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? And then later, my friend was like, oh, man, I was always so, like, impressed you could talk to boys. She's like, if I called your house and I thought your brother answered, I'd hang up the phone. And I was like, that was me, Kelly. What the fuck?
My God.
I'm like, you were hanging up on me all the time. She was like,
Meanwhile,
really?
You think you have a stalker? Or, like,
Yeah.
someone is calling and hanging up.
I was like, you couldn't just say, hi, is Erica there? Like, what? You were that scared? Not that hard.
That's funny. Killing the Celsius.
I'm like, I think we got to wrap.
I know, we got to wrap up. Okay, talk to God. Okay, some of our segments. We did just a little bit. We got a little comedy. I told you a little bit of the comedy.
I don't know. We've just been gabbing away.
I know, we just been gabbing.
We did a lot of walking off. What is your talking to God I took from that?
Oh, a lot of walks in Central Park. A lot of, it's in my head a lot this month. And so just a lot of like, kind of just guide, I always say this, but guide me in the right direction with my life and try to, I get anxious about stuff. I like, and then I just like, calm down, Teresa, calm down. So that, I think, so.
I was like, don't feel rushed of needing to wrap if you had more, but also.
No, that's pretty much just a lot of thoughts. When you do start dating someone new as an adult, you realize like not everyone's like you. And why am I acting this way, or why am I so a lot of self explanation, like thinking like, okay, why am I, where does this come from? It brings up stuff. So yeah, and it's hard to put yourself out there. Like I had a little, I was with my mom and sisters in Myrtle Beach this past weekend, and I had a little meltdown. I had a little like, because it is hard. Like when you're an adult and you are dating, and like, I think this is why people stay single for a long time, because it's hard to put yourself out there. And it's like, to be vulnerable and to let people in. But ultimately, when you want love in your life or to date, you have to do that. That's part of it. So, or
maybe even more so, you date, but how often is it like you hit the point that you really start to get deeper? Because how long has it been now? 3 months?
2.
Okay, so you're like, it's like a turning point. So a lot of times my things are around 2, 3, 4 months, and it's at like, that 3rd, 4th month is kind of this, okay, are we really doing this? Are we really getting into this? And that's like, I don't know, some people would say walls should come down more before that, but I'm like, for me, that's usually when it's like, you're just getting a little deeper into stuff. So it makes sense.
Yeah, and finding your flow. Like, that's kind of hard, too, where you're like, okay, what days, and finding the other person's flow, like how they communicate, how they, what's their, just like how he's quieter than I am. And I am, and I come out, look at us. You got
that extra phone line, dog.
Exactly. And I come out guns a-blazing. And it's different. It's just who people, it's different. And so that's something that I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, am I annoying? Am I annoying you? Like, and it's like, no, that's just, it's different.
The dynamic is common, though.
Yeah, the extroverted and introverted.
Not even that, but literally someone who's chatty and someone who is quieter. That's my best friend Talia is a chatty gal. Her guy, pretty quiet. And usually the quiet person wants the chattier person.
Which is interesting.
They want someone filling the air, man.
Yeah, just because I come from the school of like, if we're not talking, are we not having fun? Wait, we're not talking. Why is it, and you don't know. And he told me, he's like, you don't always have to be talking. And I was like, do we? Like, and
then. But he made that comment one time, and now you're in your head about it.
Oh, yeah. But then I'm like, the silence, because sometimes you run out of things to say. And then you don't, but, and then you don't. That's when you turn on The Sopranos. We're watching The Sopranos. I like when we laugh at the same stuff. Like, I was like, I told him this yesterday when I had a few drinks. I was like, I like when we laugh at the same stuff in The Sopranos, because I laughed so hard at the end of this episode. Also, Tony Soprano, he's attractive. Okay? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Tony can get it.
Listen,
okay?
There's moments you want to fuck Tony, and there's moments you want to kill Tony. I think that's like the point of the show.
And because there's levels. Like, I didn't realize he had that many levels hospitals. But this at the end of this one episode that we just watched, we're still on season 1, but he's getting ice cream out, and the son. It was a really good episode. They do flashbacks to his childhood, and the son goes, "What are you doing?" And Tony's like, "What do you think I'm doing?" And I just started laughing because that's such a question that, like, my dad will ask, like, "What are you doing?" Like, you know, Maria will ask it too. My sister, we were saying things like, "Where are you going? What you doing? I'm going to the bathroom. What do you do? Why you got to know everything?" Like, and so I don't actually do that, but I laugh so hard. It's just fun. I don't know. And then he was laughing, I think, because it was funny, but then I, like, really laughed. Also, I cracked myself up. In this one episode, Kevin McAllister's dad from Home Alone is in it. He plays like he plays like a cop, but he beats up the therapist's boyfriend. And I was like, it's Kevin McAllister's dad. And I cracked myself up so hard.
That's how I feel watching Grey's Anatomy. When I first started watching it, there's so many people that pop in and they're like just a patient in an episode. And I'm like, oh, this is before they got their big break.
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh, like you see the struggle of actors and they probably were like, yes, got one episode of Grey's. Like,
yes. Woo,
I get to have a hematoma. Like, or whatever.
Grey's Anatomy, though, I don't know how that hospital's still standing. Earthquakes, a plane goes into it, there's fires.
Listen.
I mean, the hospital needs a hospital for the hospital. It's the most unsafe place ever. I had to stop watching.
It's great, but terrible at the same time. And if you really binge it the way I did, that was my COVID show. It's like way too much. It's one of those, I'm too deep, but I caught up to real time, and that's kind of sad that I was like, oh, I've spent way too much time watching this show.
What was it, 25 seasons? Like,
it's on 20. This is the 20th season.
Oh, man. I mean, Meredith Grey, she hasn't aged. I don't even know who's on the show. I stopped watching when Katherine Heigl was there.
She got a black husband, so she must like to eat. That's all I'm going to say. We need to wrap. But no, I'm just mad. I know how you dance, T.
Because I sent you pictures.
All right, we gotta
wrap it up.
All right. Anyway, if you want more episodes, join the Patreon. It's still patreon.com/shootersgottashoot, but we'll change that soon. Anyway, talk to y'all next week.
Bye. Thanks for listening.